Olive growing in New Zealand? Well, many New Zealanders are becoming attracted to the passion that surrounds these ancient and almost sacred trees. So what are the main requirements for growing olives in New Zealand? Who better to ask than Chef Lammers from Sustainable Nutrition?
The first one is climate. As we said already, it's cool climate, linked to cool climate viticulture. Climate. Next step is soil. The higher your rainfall is, the more free draining your soil should be. Olives are a typical tree. They're a tree from the Mediterranean, the dry climate in the Mediterranean, and they don't like wet feet. But the soils in the Mediterranean are more alkaline. So we need to do something on our chemical balance within the soil. That's really a very important aspect. Another aspect is site selection, and that's really bringing the two together.
Do you believe New Zealanders can meet these requirements?
I think the future of New Zealand olive growers is looking well within those pockets of areas that are suitable.
So, New Zealand has pockets in which to grow the olives, and nurseries seem to be anticipating a small rush on plants. At Waimea Nurseries in Appleby, cuttings are taken. They're dipped in rooting hormone and planted close together in seed trays. These trays are then stored in propagation houses, and root development is encouraged with mist and bottom heat. The seedlings are potted up twice and then grown on in large shade houses. So, who do they expect to grow all these trees? The recently formed New Zealand Olive Association held its annual conference in Nelson this year.
Welcome to the Nelson Olive Conference. My name is Andrew Fenimore, I'm chairman of the organising committee. We've been somewhat overwhelmed by the interest in olives, or maybe it's just people wanting to come for a holiday in Nelson, I'm not sure. But certainly overwhelmed by the numbers registering for this conference, so we hope you all enjoy yourselves. That's a sign that olive growing is coming of age in New Zealand.
People who live among olive trees tell you that their air is pure and their lives are full. They expect miracles and a matter of course. In fact, I've discovered from all the olive growers that I've met that they're all mad. They're all romantic. They know they're never going to make any money.
So you actually grow olives up north there?
Yes, no, I do. I've got about 400 trees planted on a volcanic plateau in a little place called Kuratau near Turingi. My neighbour's got approximately 1,000, and we're managing them together. And it was just that we had the land, and the olives proved an appropriate crop to put on it. So we hope to recover some costs like insurance and rates.
Chris Lum, and we're growing them in Drury, in Auckland.
Oh, right, so it's South Auckland, that's a long way away.
Yeah.
What was it that attracted you to olives?
No, not a lot of spraying. Just something, almost an easy care crop, I guess. What we thought was, yes. Yeah. And we wanted just something to do.
Tony Scott, we're from Masterton. Yeah, we grow in the Wairarapa Valley, yeah.
What was it that attracted you to olives in the first place?
Well, we've got a 5-acre block, which we had stock on. And stock are just a real nuisance. There's nothing worse than cows getting out and eating the trees you've planted. And
contrary to what we were told the other day about deciding first of all to grow olives and then buying the piece of ground, we did it the other way about. We had the hectare in Martinborough with a wee house on it, and we looked around for something to grow on it. Now obviously we could have grown grapes because there's a lot of grapes in Martinborough. But I'd read about olives, and so we thought we'd give that a go. I had a bit of trouble with some of the trees dying, but that could be me as much as anything.
My name is Doug Simpson, and I've been associated with Waimea Nurseries for a number of years. We planted this olive grove here to to be a source of cutting material for the nursery. Like a lot of people, we've been to Italy and Greece and more recently Israel and Turkey. Yep. And the fascination of, I think, the age of the tree that, you know, for several thousand years they've been used and used extensively for food and lighting, and we haven't had a successful harvest yet. Last year was the first year and we picked, I think, 40 kilos. Right. And from that we got something like 3 litres of oil, which we've scattered about for the rest of the year. This year we'll pick about half a tonne.
Picking is a social activity. Mainly volunteers, they rake or shake the fruit from the trees, and it's collected on ground sheets. Leaves aren't much of a problem. Even the Italians leave a few in. After the weigh-in, the olives are dumped into a hopper and transported through stainless steel augers. Air blows off the bulk of the excess leaves, and the olives are washed in water before entering the crusher, stones and all, creating a rather suspicious-looking paste. The paste then enters the centrifuge, and the countdown begins. When Tony gives the OK, it fires up like a 747. Excitement builds with the anticipation of the rewards of another year's time and labour. Nothing can match the taste and aroma of freshly cold-pressed extra virgin olive oil. So, New Zealanders can produce the goods. I've seen it with my own eyes. But what's the real story? Are they in it for love or money?
I think the majority are in for lifestyle and the love.
Yeah. The former.
I think, in fact, the money in olives at the moment is really being made by the nurseries who are supplying the trees, and anyone who's supplying the gear for setting up a farm, you know, might be slightly hopeful, really, in terms of income out of them. But I've got my fingers crossed.
Do you grow olives for love or money?
Oh well, I'm a nurseryman, so I'd have to say no. You have to do you have to do both.
So aesthetically, it's wonderful. Whether it does anything for our pocket at the end of the day,
well, I actually had a question I was going to ask later on, but I'll ask it now. Is growing olives for you for love or money?
For love, yes, yeah, definitely.
Is it for love or money? Partly love. No, it's not for money. All love.
Oh, it's got to be for love. It's got to be for love.
TV personality Peter Mathias is one of the biggest fans of New Zealand olive oil, but would she plant a grove herself?
No, but I was looking. I don't live anywhere. I can't buy land. But I was looking at the garden that we visited today, and I thought, maybe I should just buy one plant, and it can be my mascot plant.